So we will be discussing meditation, what it is, practical details about how to meditate, and the philosophy behind meditation, and the prerequisites for meditation. Because here in the West, often meditation is given simply as a technique, without speaking at all or employing at all what one needs to do in order to be ready to meditate. Meditation in the system of yoga is the seventh step of an 8-step process, which means that meditating without preparing oneself for meditation is like trying to build the 7th floor of a building in which you have not laid down the foundation and you have not built yet the first 6 floors. It can have its dangers, and at the least it simply won't be successful. So the body and the mind need to be prepared, and one's lifestyle needs to be prepared in order for the real value of meditation to be attained. First of all, what is meditation? Okay? It's a process of quieting the mind or focusing the mind so that we can come into contact with higher levels of our being. The idea is that except for this body and this personality and this common mind that we are aware of, there are other levels of our being which are more energized, which are wise, which contain powers and abilities which are not inherent in our personality. A part of our being which has the knowledge as to what we should do in our lives, how we need to live our lives, what we should do with our lives, which has the knowledge of the purpose of our incarnation, a part of our mind which can guide us in life. I'm going to forget that now, I can't stop. Just be sure that the video is okay?
Yeah, I think, but I can't hear anything here.
Okay, just check the video. So, the first step is to be able to relax the mind. That is, to limit the number of thoughts per second. Because the number of thoughts per second are many. Okay? So as to just have less thoughts, less activity in the mind. The next step is to be able to focus the mind on our chosen object of concentration. All meditation groups, in essence, teach the same meditation. The only difference between the meditation groups is the object of concentration, is what you're going to concentrate on. The process is the same. It's a process of relaxation and concentration. It's the same. Whether you're concentrating on Christ, or you're concentrating on the light, you're concentrating on the word Om, or the sound, or an energy in your body, it's always the same process. The process of limiting the mind to a specific area of concentration. What differs from group to group is what you will concentrate on. Here in Harmonikizui, we will offer you a variety of objects of concentration, and we will explain how they work, and we will let you choose what is more comfortable for you. And if you are already meditating and already have a specific object of concentration, an object of which you are concentrating in your mind, you don't have to change that. We're going to be discussing the process of meditation and the lifestyle around meditation, and you will choose what you want to focus on. Okay? So the first step is relaxing the mind. The next step is being able to focus it on a limited area which we will choose, which we will discuss. The third step is the transcendence of the process of concentration, in which even the idea that I am concentrating stops. So there's relaxation, there's concentration, and there's transcendence. Transcendence is a state in which all effort ceases, and we're not actually trying to limit the mind in any space. The mind has reached a level of inner peace, which there is no effort, there's no meditator, and there's no object of meditation. All of those become one. We will describe that later. This is a very difficult state of mind to achieve, and most people are actually afraid of this state of mind, because when we experience it, we don't experience the natural limitations of our being that we experience now. Now we experience ourselves as limited to this body, limited to this mind, okay? Whereas in that state, we lose that sense of limitation. This is often fearful. Also, many people in the West would wonder, why on earth would anyone want to empty their mind? Because we have learned to worship thoughts. We have learned that you have to be continuously thinking, organizing, creating, controlling. We are controlling beings. We want to control everything around us. And we haven't understood the power of surrender. The power of surrendering our thoughts and surrendering our thought processes, even if it's for a few seconds. And how much that can enrich in the mind and enhance our creativity and enhance our mental powers. I have found in life that by emptying my mind and experiencing that state of emptiness, even for 5 minutes, even for 30 seconds a day, increases my mental powers, increases the ability of my mind to penetrate into subjects that I want to analyze, into my own self, into other beings, to be able to solve a problem. All of these mental abilities are increased by the fact that the mind comes to a state of stillness, because this is our true nature. It may not seem that way. We may think that our true nature is this thinking thing. This mind is always thinking. But our true nature is beyond that. It's this being without thoughts. This being which is beyond time and space. So don't be afraid. It's not so easy to get to that state. So you won't be experiencing yourselves beyond time and space, at least for a period of time. So the first thing we need, the ultimate, however, goal of meditation is eventually the transformation of the character. Okay. Meditation is not a process of trying to become this person who just sits with the legs crossed and doesn't engage in life anymore. At least that's not what we're interested in at this stage of the game. We're interested in meditation as a process of self-transformation, of becoming a better person. Now, a better person means more loving. Just remove Louise, don't do anything back there now. Just leave it. Okay.
None of the tape recorders.
It's okay. I'm recording it here. We'll see the problem. It means, first of all, becoming a more loving person. A person whose love doesn't change, because someone behaves differently. It means becoming a more peaceful person, so that our sense of inner peace is stable. It's not dependent on what's happening around us. It means becoming a more creative person, a person whose mind is not limited by how he has thought until now in his life. It may mean also becoming a more productive person, a healthier person, a more vital person, a person with more energy and vitality. We will discuss the benefits of meditation next week. So don't get the idea that we are engaging in this meditative process so as to withdraw ourselves from society. We're interested in becoming more vital in society. Okay? Now, the first thing that we need to do in order to be able to meditate is to know why we want to meditate. This is true of anything we want to do in our lives. So I would ask you all to ask yourselves why you want to meditate. This is very important because I need you to meditate because you want to, and not because you're taking this course, or not because you have to do it in the process of this self-knowledge seminar. It's very important, whatever we do in life, that we know why we are doing it and why we want to do it. So think about this. Now, because I want to meditate, it doesn't mean that tomorrow I'm going to be meditating. Why? Because I may also want to sleep late. I may also want to stay out late at night. I may also want to do many things in my life, and that leaves no space for my meditation. So, having decided to meditate, then I must also see what other needs are in conflict with this need. If I decide that I want to meditate daily, once or twice a day, I'll have to look at my laziness, I'll have to look at my other desires, at my other needs, and I'm going to have to work on these inner conflicts, because one part of myself says, I can see, or I'd like to investigate at least, the possibility of benefiting from this technique. And this other part says, well, I don't want to get up early in the morning, or I don't have time for this, or this is just, I feel guilty sitting here when I have so many dishes to do, or so much work to do. And so we're going to have to confront these other voices which will take us away from this choice, from this decision, that I want to contact my inner self daily. And I want to benefit from this recharging process. I feel meditation as a recharging process. That is, I stop and I just take in this energy from the universe, and I feel the energy of my physical and mental processes balancing, relaxing, and then I come out rejuvenated, clearer, ready for action, for much clearer action in my life. So the first step is understanding why we want to do it. The second step is dealing with the various other needs which may come in conflict with our desire to at least investigate this possibility. The third step is to learn the techniques in which have to do with meditation. That is, learning the technique of meditation itself, also some breathing techniques which can help to balance the energy before we meditate. You might also want to learn some physical postures, which we're not going to teach here, but we can learn in the yoga classes, for preparing the energy body and preparing the mind so that it's already calmed down and focused by the time we start meditating. So the best process is exercise, breathing, meditation. It's like driving a car. We wouldn't try to drive our car starting in third gear, because it just won't go. So we put it in first, we have some momentum, we put it in second, we have more momentum, and then by the time we're ready, we put it in third and it goes. So by doing some exercises first, doing some breathing techniques, then the mind is already there, it's already in this peaceful state for meditation. It's not an absolute. Millions of people meditate without breathing or doing exercises beforehand, but it can enhance the process. We will also talk about the possibility of prayer and the possibility of chanting and the possibility of vibrations which may accompany meditation. We'll also talk about food and how food affects the mind, and which foods are best for the meditator. And we'll also talk about lifestyle and what kind of lifestyle will enhance our meditation or obstruct it. Okay? The fourth aspect is understanding the philosophy behind this process. A philosophy which sees man as a divine being, which sees every human as an eternal divine energy, which is temporarily encased in a body and in the mind, and meditation as the process of freeing that energy from the limitations of the body and mind. We will discuss this philosophy as we move on. A fifth aspect is the group effort that we'll be making here. We will be meditating every week together at the end of the class. And then you'll have the opportunity to ask questions about difficulties that you have, the dog barking, thinking about things tomorrow, all the obstacles, the body paining in the meditation, and try to see what solutions we can find for this. And lastly, we will have an intensive day of meditation if you want to come. It'll be in Greek, but I think you'll understand it. In which we will be going to Mirinunda in December 15th or something like that. It's one morning in Mirinunda where we'll be meditating 3 or 4 times in between exercises, chanting and breathing, so as to get a deeper sense of what we can feel if we really give some time to it. That's optional, but suggested. Now, some practical details about meditation. First of all, the space we are going to meditate. Theoretically, you can meditate anywhere. I have meditated on buses, on airplanes, on trains, and not while driving, of course. In nature, wonderful place to meditate. In churches, in houses, near rivers. Usually, however, you'll meditate in your house. Okay? And it's nice if you can set up a space there. It's not absolute, but it suggests if you can set up a special chair or a special bench or a pillow, an area in your house where this is an area which you will be meditating. This area will gradually absorb the vibrations of that activity. So that when you go there, as when you walk into a church, you get the vibration of the church. Because in that area, this activity is taking place. And the room takes on that energy. If you go into a bar, then you take the energy of the bar, or the nightclub. So every space absorbs the energy of the activity which takes place there. But you can meditate anywhere. But if you can create a place in your house, a corner of your bedroom, where you have a chair or a pillow or something, that's nice. Also, another small detail is, if you want to cover yourself with the same shawl, or the same sheet, or the same blanket, or some people even wear the same clothing when they pray or meditate. These are details, they are external details, they are not the essence. The essence is what's going on in the mind. But they help. And they're small aids in this process. Traditionally, one is asked to face east. But I usually just face a window or any open space, rather than have an open window on our back or on our neck, letting the open space be towards the face. There should be no one else in the room when you're meditating, unless, of course, the other person is meditating, or perhaps sleeping, but if he snores, it'll make it difficult. As far as animals are concerned, it's better that they not be in the room because they are very much attracted by the peaceful vibration. They like to come and sit on you. Something which disturbs, of course, your concentration. So it's better to put the animal out in another room. As far as the telephone is concerned, it's better to disengage it, or if you've got an answering machine, no problem. Or if there are other people in the house, inform them that for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, a half an hour, that we would prefer that they will just write down any messages, that you will call anyone back after this period of time. So this brings us to the point of explaining to the others what we are doing. It's important to help our loved ones not be anxious about this new activity. We're not changing religions. We're not going to go off to live in a cave. We're not going to shave our heads. Just explaining, this is something that I have read about, I have heard about, and I want to see if it would help me become a better person, have more energy, be more peaceful. It's to your benefit if I'm more peaceful, if I'm more loving. So, give me the space to try this out. It's better not to hide the fact. If you want to say that you're praying rather than meditating, that's not a problem because it's very close. Or relaxing, it's also very close. But they should know that for 20 minutes you're doing something and you would not like to be disturbed. So it's best to explain that to the people and also to ask them how they feel, do any active listening, relax their anxiety. And the second factor is that the room should also be warm because the body usually relaxes. There's two kinds of reactions. I get warm when I'm meditating. But other people, most people get cold. But you can have both kinds of reactions. Okay? So it is good for the room to be suitably warm, and if not, to have a blanket next to you that you can cover yourself with if you don't cover yourself with. Now, as far as the body is concerned, the stomach should be empty. We should have eaten, if we're eating a full meal, at least 3 hours before. If it's a piece of fruit, it's okay. Half an hour is enough for a piece of fruit to be digested. Otherwise, we'll have a conflict in interest in the blood. That is, the blood will go to the stomach, and when the blood goes to the stomach, thoughts are created when the stomach is working, and the digestive system is working. So this is a conflict of interest in the body. So it's better for the stomach, the digestive system to be in. The spine should be straight. Now this is not always very easy. I'm going to show you some possible sitting situations. One is on this bench, as you see now, in which this bench is inclined towards the front, which allows the thighs to be inclined downward. And I have one foot over the other. Let me just show you that. So I'm sitting with the inclination towards the front. This is a traditional Japanese position for sitting on the Caesar bench. Okay? And it's very good for those who have pain in their legs. Okay? Another possibility is sitting cross-legged on the pillow. And so we usually put the pillow under the buttocks, and we put the heel of the left foot under the perineum, which is between the anus and the genitals. And then the right foot comes up onto the left thigh. And this creates a locked position, which allows the spine to be straight. It's easier to keep the spine straight in this position than it is sitting in a chair or sitting on the bench. The problem is it creates problems in the knees. I have problems in my knees from sitting so many years in this position, so I don't sit this way anymore. The third possibility is this is called the half lotus. The third possibility is the full lotus, which also creates even more problems. I wouldn't suggest trying to sit 20 minutes in that position. Both hands are towards the sky. We usually unite the thumb with the index finger, allowing the rest of the fingers to be relaxed. If in the process of the meditation the fingers relax and they disengage, that's not a problem. The important thing is to be relaxed, not to have the finger like this. Now, another possibility is to sit on the knees themselves like this. Okay. And if that's not comfortable, we can put a pillow here. And another possibility is to put one or two pillows under the buttocks and to sit like this. This is comfortable for some people. And the last possibility, well, the second last, is simply to sit in a chair. There's no special advantage, but if you're sitting in a chair, it should be higher than this one here. It should be, so that you can have a 45-degree angle between your knees and your thighs, that is, between your shins and your thighs. And here, I should be a little higher here, but I have this low chair to show you. And again, the hands are on the knees, and we're sitting as straight as we can. Now, it's better to bring the buttocks back and to place a pillow in the small of the back here, if we want to rest the back. Now, there's a conflict of interest here, because it's almost impossible for the back to be straight if it's touching. We'll do this, you see. It'll get curved. But on the other hand, if we sit without the support of the chair or of a wall, the only thing we're focusing on for 20 minutes is the pain that we have in our back. And that's not the purpose of meditation. So we have to find, excuse me, a solution in between. And that is, what I suggest is that you sit without the support of the chair or the wall for as long as you comfortably can, and then playing with the limits of your pain, that is, after about 2 or 3 minutes of feeling the pain, which means that the muscles are straining, then rest with your back on the chair or on the wall. In this way, we will gradually strengthen the back muscles and increase their ability to hold the spine straight with time. So that if in the beginning we could sit only 5 minutes, eventually we can sit 10 minutes without the support, and then 15 and 20, and as time goes on, we are training our back to be able to sit straight. But on the other hand, we are not creating so much pain that we can't focus. So we play between these two positions. Okay? If you decide to do this on the wall, then the solution is to come to the wall with a pillow. If your legs are giving you a problem and you have them in front of you, you bring your back here, and then you put this pillow in the lower back here, and that creates a straight position. Okay? And again, the hands are on the thighs, and you can sit like this. This is another possibility. Those of you that have these chairs that we have, you can use those chairs as you are sitting now, and see if you can be straight, okay? Otherwise, you might want to put a pillow there, so as to create a straight spine. A straight spine is very important. And you will see that when you are meditating and that you are actually begin to transcend or begin to have an empty mind, that the spine will move by itself. And then you'll be like this, and suddenly you'll feel that as you become empty and you go into this space, that your body will start correcting itself by itself. And this is because when you get into this state, the spine needs to be straight. It's like an antenna, which is receiving, if you like, these cosmic energies. It by itself, it changes position. So it is good if we can keep it straight from the beginning, so it doesn't have to make this corrective movement. Okay. Now another factor is that we want, if possible, to be able to sit for the duration of the meditation without moving. Now this may not be possible in the beginning. Now there are two kinds of movements. There are involuntary movements and voluntary. That is, I feel something in my leg and I want to scratch. I want to scratch my eye. Or I'm feeling pain somewhere and I want to change my position so that I'm not feeling pain. These are voluntary movements which we make because we have a certain stimulus from our body. as much as possible, we're going to try to train the mind just to watch the stimulus and not change position. This is developing what we call the witness. Developing the ability to be detached from the body and what's going on in the body. So at this point I would say, I am not the body. I am not my eye which needs scratching. And I watch what happens if I don't scratch my eye. I watch what happens if I don't change my position. I become the witness. This is a very important aspect of coming in contact with our higher self. Now there are limitations to this. If a pain becomes excruciating, we just can't keep sitting there. We have to change position. So we have to find a balance here, especially in relationship to pains in the legs, because we can do damage to our knees and to our hips by ignoring those pains. So you can allow those pains to exist for about 5 minutes, but not more. After about 5 minutes, you should change your position. But a pain in the back or pain in the shoulders will not create any kind of damage. And so we can just observe it as much as possible. Now the other kind of movement is involuntary movement. The head goes like this, or there's a twitching in the eye. This is the process through which the energy body begins balancing itself. You might find ourselves going like this, or going in circles like this. You see. These are natural energy processes through which the energy body is trying to create balance. One even might start crying or yawning. These are all involuntary movements through which tension is released. There's no need to suppress them. If you start yawning, if you start crying, if you have tears, if you start having some movements, shaking or anything like this, it's a very natural process of the suppressed tension of so many years taking the opportunity to leave the system now that we're relaxed. It can also happen in meditation. It can also happen in breathing exercises, in relaxation, in prayer. It can happen at many different times. Don't be afraid of such involuntary movements. Okay, so we spoke about the area. We spoke about, and also if you want to create, if you have religious tendencies, and you want to create a small altar in your room, you can do that. Again, it's external. It has nothing to do with the essence of things. The essence is what our heart feels and what we do. But if it's pleasant to you to have incense or a candle or an image, it is helpful. It's not the essence, but it is helpful. Now, starting the meditation, there are two techniques which will help us go into meditation. The first technique is breathing slowly and deeply, and we will teach you what is called alternate breathing, where we alternate nostrils, and we're going to balance the energy before we go into the meditation. And the second is prayer, or invocation. Now, if you are of a religious nature, then you can pray in any way that you like. If you're not of a religious nature, you can simply use that moment to mentally state whatever is important for you. That I am sitting here to meditate now because I want to be a better person, or because I want to be more peaceful or more creative. You can either do prayer or positive projection. It's your choice. The prayer or invocations could be concerning yourself, could be concerning humanity, that I pray that all beings be well, be happy, realize their true selves, whatever you wish for yourselves, whatever you wish for humanity, whatever you wish for your family. So it can either be a kind of positive projection or a prayer or an invocation. These two things, breathing and praying, or breathing and positive thoughts, are a very good way to bring the mind to that peaceful state where then we can begin to focus on the object of concentration. And then that brings us to the actual process of meditation, which is to bring the mind back over and over again to the point which we have chosen to focus on. Now this point throughout the weeks will change. I'm going to give you a small introduction today. I'm going to ask you to practice that this week, and then next week I'm going to add something to that. And so by the 5th or 6th class, we will have created a system of going into meditation, and from there on it's your own process. Here, when we're here, I will guide you, but then at one point I will say, continue your meditation in the way that suits you most. And so you will continue, I will give the introduction. Okay? Now, there are ways to go into the meditation which are helpful. One is to do a body scan. That is, once I have done my breathing, and once I have made my invocation or my prayer, then I do a body scan. I go through the body and see if there are any parts which are tense, which are not relaxed, any parts which are holding, and just relax everything and become as relaxed in a straight position as I can. Just as we can do a body scan, we can do an energy scan. And let the awareness move through the body, sensing what the energy is doing in each part of the body. After we do this scan, then a good way to get started, and the way we will start today, is to focus on light. Regardless of what we choose eventually as the object of our concentration, using the light in the beginning is a way of establishing a state of peace and harmony. And then in that light, one can go to any form of concentration. How do we establish the light? We imagine it or feel it or sense it here in the forehead. You don't have to see it. If you see it, fine. But you can imagine it. You can feel it. You can sense it as a vibration, as a feeling of light. We allow that to spread and to flow throughout the skull and to permeate the brain, to go into all of the brain cells, this light. We're either seeing it, or we're feeling it, or we're sensing it. Then we allow it to flow down through the neck, into the shoulders, into the arms. We allow it, we imagine it, we feel it flowing into the heart center, into the chest, filling this area with the sense of light, or the vision of light, or the feeling of light. Then we allow it to flow down into the abdominal area, creating peace there. Then we allow it to flow down into the legs, so that the whole body is immersed in this sense of light, this feeling of light, this vibration of light. Okay? And then we just check. We do a scan again and see maybe there are some parts of the body which are closed to this feeling, which are tense. So we say, well, I'm feeling light everywhere but in my solar plexus. So we let that open and receive the light. Okay? Or in my shoulders. So we do this second check of what's happening with the energy, the light body. Once we have done that second check, we allow the light to expand and to become an aura, or to increase our aura, become an energy field around our body. So now we have light in our bodies, we have light or energy around us. This is a very good technique to do daily, independent of what kind of meditation follows, because it actually creates a very strong aura, which makes us very resistant to negativity. It's difficult then for people's negativity, or even for pollution or negative energies around us, to pass into our being. We're creating this protective shield, of an energy shield around us. So we stay in this light. So now we have light in us, we have light around us, and at this point now, for this week, we're just going to stay in that light. Your assignment for this week is to go that far. And just every time you lose that sense that there's light in me and light around me, to go back to that feeling. And then we'll lose it again because we'll start thinking about what we're going to do and what happened. And he says, okay, with love and with peace, without rejecting ourselves, without getting upset because we weren't able to keep it, we go back. It's very important in meditation not to get upset with yourself. It's not easy. It's not easy to make the mind still. Sai Baba, very powerful teacher in India, says that the mind is like a drunken monkey. You can imagine how active a monkey is. So you can imagine how active a drunken monkey is, who's been stung by a bee. Okay, this is what the mind is like. Okay? So how are we going to make this drunken monkey stung by a bee sit for a long period of time? It's just not going to sit. It's going to go away. It's going to go do something else. So we have to have patience. Patience but persistence. So we don't say, oh, I can't do it today, and I get up. No, I'm going to sit for 20 minutes. The mind can do whatever it wants. I'm going to sit here. The mind can go to New York, then it can go to Tokyo, then it can go to Africa, but I'm going to sit here and watch it. And watch it go to all these places. And then gradually, like a child that you give freedom to, it will come and sit. So we need to have this combination of patience and persistence and love. Not to get upset with ourselves, not to let go of the process. It doesn't matter. So, we're going to create this week the idea of the light filling the body and the light surrounding the body. Eventually, I'll give you the option to, at that point, move on to focusing on anything that you like. Because once you have set up this light state, you can focus on Christ, you can focus on the Om, you can focus on love, you can focus on anything that you like. Okay? So this, what we're doing this week is the introduction, getting in to that state. Okay, so we start with the breathing, we follow with the prayer or the invocation, then we do the light scan, or the relaxation scan, then the light scan, we double check it, we let the light expand, go around the body, and then for this week we're just going to stay in that state. As of next week we'll talk about further steps. Okay, I think that one more factor. It's important when you come out of meditation to have time to come back gradually. Because coming out of meditation is often like coming out of sleep. And having recorded people's metabolism in meditation, they have seen that it drops even lower in some cases than the metabolism in sleep. So you shouldn't organize your time so that immediately, a few seconds after coming out of meditation, you have to get up and do something. You should have 5 minutes to come slowly back into activity. Also, you should be prepared for the possibility. It's not an absolute. There is a possibility that you may feel worse in the beginning. Things may come up. We have suppressed a lot of emotions, a lot of needs, a lot of desires throughout the years. We have learned to cope with life by suppressing large portions of ourselves. And meditation is a process of coming in contact with what is true. And that sometimes can mean that rather than becoming more peaceful for the first few weeks, I become more angry because I've been suppressing anger for so many years. Or I sleep less. Or I get upset more easily. And that may happen just after the meditation. I may come up out of the meditation feeling beautiful, and then suddenly start shouting at my children or at my spouse. And of course they will criticize. They will see your meditation, you're supposed to be more peaceful. And look at the way you're acting. This is to be not expected, but just if it happens, don't worry. It's all a part of the process, and it will empty itself. It's like having a pressure cooker. When you look at the pressure cooker, you can't see any pressure. But if you start touching the top of it, you see, tick, 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 this pressure is coming out. So meditation is like touching the top. And that is why when we teach meditation, we suggest that people don't meditate more than a half an hour at a time. Because we just want to touch the top of the pressure cooker. We don't want to take the top off. Okay. So it would not, because 20 minutes is good, it doesn't mean an hour is better. 20 minutes is good in the beginning. We'll see. We don't have any negative reactions, we increase it to a half an hour. We're still feeling wonderful. After 6 months, a year, we increase it to 40 minutes. We can increase it gradually. We don't want to go in and do too much. Okay, we're going to meditate now together. I'm going to guide you. Do you have any questions before we do that? Louisa, we're going to focus on the candles during the process of meditation. Any questions that you have?
Yes, I'd like to ask you two things. What about music accompanying?
That's a good question.
Using music.
Music can be very helpful, especially in the beginning, but the ultimate goal of meditation is to not have any external help. It is just with the power of the mind. So I have no, in fact, in some classes we are going to put some music, but I wouldn't suggest that you make a habit of it. I would let it be like an experience once a week, twice a week at the most. Just like a pleasant experience, rather than as I have to have music when I meditate. That wouldn't be useful.
The other thing is the position. I've been used to lying flat on the bed.
Yeah.
Is that?
No, that's not suggested because you go into another state. That's good for relaxation. At least as a beginner, I would say that for the first 12 years, one should do it sitting.
I don't find that I lose, that I get away from what I'm doing.
But it's another state. Try sitting. And then you can lie down and continue for another 10 minutes if you want to relax the parts of the body. In any school will tell you you have to sit in a meditation school. I say to you, I suggest that you sit. I sometimes meditate lying down, but it is a different process. It's a different state that you get into. Other questions? Anyone have matches?
How do we know that 20 minutes have elapsed since we started meditation?
Okay, well, in the beginning...
This 20 minutes, do they include
preparation?
the preparation and all this, or net?
Well, it doesn't have to be exactly 20 minutes. But if we consider that the breathing and the prayer take about 5 minutes, it could be 25 minutes. And if we do it 25 minutes, that's fine. And if we do it 20 minutes and only 15 is meditation, that's also okay. In the beginning, we can have a clock in front of us, preferably not a clock which makes any noise. The other possibility is to have a watch or any kind of alarm which has a timer on it, so you can just set it for 20 minutes, like the one you have for cooking or something like that. And so when it reaches 0, it makes a sound. It's another possibility. Another possibility is to have a 46-minute cassette, which plays 23 minutes on one side, put it in the machine without music, and so when it pops up, you know 23 minutes have passed. You'll find ways. Any other questions?
I had an experience a little while, not a little while, some time ago. I thought that I succeeded meditation, not because I wanted it, but it happened to me as I was walking. Is it possible that...
Yes, this is possible. Yes. We can go into these states without trying to, and when there is a need.
Yes, I had a need.
Yes.
While walking,
I wanted an answer.
Yeah,
while walking.
yes, it's sometimes frightful.
I was very much focused on what I was thinking, and I needed to get an answer. And I forgot everything around me for quite some time.
Okay, let's leave the rest of the questions for afterwards. And take any of those positions that I suggested, find a way to support it. I'm going to turn off some of these lights here.
I don't see it.
East is
This way?
yeah.
Why do we have to face east?
You don't have to. Okay, just a moment. We're both focused on the candle. Okay, you can sit with your body in straight position. Remove any glasses or watches, any objects which prevent your concentration. You can begin to take some deep breaths, breathing more slowly and more deeply. Allow your mind to be on the process of breathing. Take the air into your body as slowly as possible. Hold it, and then let it flow out as slowly as possible. think mentally what is important. Become aware of the muscles of your abdomen. Allow them to relax. Allow your solar plexus to relax. Feel your shoulders. Allow the shoulders and the arms to relax. Feel your facial muscles. Allow the muscles of your face to relax. Allow the cheeks. Allow the eyes to relax. And let your awareness come to your forehead. And allow the forehead to relax. Now in the center of your forehead, become aware of a light. Feel or see or sense this light. Allow the light to expand fill all of the head. Allow the light to penetrate into the brain and bring peace to the brain. Allow the light to flow down into your neck, into your shoulders, relaxing that area. And allow the light to flow into your arms, relaxing your arms and hands. You feel the light flowing into the chest area, your heart center. You feel that all of your chest area is being filled with this sensation of light and energy. And allow the light to flow into the abdominal area, into the solar plexus, into all the muscles of the abdomen, bringing relaxation. Allow the light to flow into your thighs, into your calves, now feel all of your body permeated by the sensation of light. And if any parts are resisting, allow them to open now towards the feeling of light. returning to that sensation, feeling the light in and around you, over and over.